Okay, hey everyone, this is Kevin with Divinely Designed, and we have a paper crafting related video today. One of the ladies over at Stamp Nation asked me about, or said she'd like to see kind of a video on making molds. I mentioned that in the recent expo I went to, I had purchased this little frame, and I just liked the size of it. I thought it would work well kind of on a card, and I thought I might make some molds of it so that, I can reproduce it. So she said, oh, I think I'd like to see a video about that. So I thought I'd do a short video. I have 3 different kinds of molds here, and kind of starting with this purple one here. This is probably the easiest one of a commercially available product, and it's called Easy Mold, and you can get this at most craft stores like Michael's or Joanne Crafts or AC Moore. It's usually in the clay section, I believe, but it has 2 parts to it. It's just like silly putty or Play-Doh kind of consistency, and you take equal parts of each and you just mash them together and you squish them until they sort of become a consistent color without streaks. And then you put your mold, you sort of put your mold in place, and you let this sit for 24 hours. And it gives you a nice durable mold. It's really easy to use. This is probably, if you're making very small molds, this is a great option, I think. If you really want to do a DIY option, I have this one, which is actually made out of silicone caulk that you would get at like Home Depot or a hardware store, mixed with cornstarch. And I think I have a little video clip of that. Okay, this is a super DIY method of making a mold, but it's also super messy. So wear gloves and protect your surface. But you just take a bunch of the silicone caulk and you mix it with cornstarch. And you need to keep mixing in the cornstarch until it's not sticky anymore. And it becomes much more like a dough that you can sort of squish and roll out. And really that's it. It takes a fair amount of cornstarch. If you try this, you'll be surprised how much cornstarch you really need to use to get it to the point. And it's a balance here. You can't use too much or else it'll become really firm really quickly and you won't be able to mold whatever you're trying to mold. So it's a balance. You got to get it to the right point. It sometimes takes a little bit of practice. But same thing, you have to sort of mix it, and then you pop this in and you let it sit. This actually will harden up fairly quickly, and you'll get a nice mold with that as well. This is super cheap and super DIY. The one, this mold, sometimes you lose a little bit of detail with it. I mean, it's not, it's not made for making molds like that. So I think sometimes you'll lose a little bit of detail. And the other thing is, over time, this will get a little dry and can actually crack on you. This will stay nice and pliable for a long time. I want to say years. I don't know that I've had any for years, but... And then probably the most complicated one, this is a liquid 2-part silicone, and I also have a little video clip of that. Okay, so this is the more complicated method of making a mold, but it gives you a mold that has super fine detail to it. Now, there are several different commercial products out there. The one I'm using is called Alumilite High Strength number 3, and it's a 2-part liquid silicone. uh, this part is the base part, and then I'm going to add a sort of clear pink liquid that's the reactive agent, and you have to measure it by weight. And then you just mix it up until it's well combined. Notice I built a kind of box to put the mold in out of foam core. Once it's thoroughly mixed, you just pour it over the thing you're trying to mold. Making sure to pour very smoothly and eliminate air bubbles is important with this material. But you let it sit overnight for 24 hours, and then you'll have a really high quality silicone mold. So once you're done with that, though, you end up with this very strong, very pliable mold that has amazing detail to it. Out of the three, this has probably the best detail, although this one is very good as well. And this one isn't terrible, I'm not going to say that, but this one has definitely the best detail of it. So any of those three will work. You can use them with air dry clay or oven dry clay. So this is one that I made actually using this one, the sort of very DIY. This is an oven dry clay, and I'll put them sort of side by side here so you can kind of see. It came out great. Again, I think you lose a tiny bit of the very fine detail, like the lines around this flourish down here are not, let me see if I can get this a little closer here. The lines down here are not quite as fine as these lines from the master mold of it, but they're not bad. And the other thing I like to use these molds with is actually hot glue. You can fill these with hot glue and let the hot glue cool, and then it becomes, just another mold that you can use. Obviously, the clay you can paint in many different ways. The same with the hot glue. It has, it's hot glue, so it's a little harder to paint sometimes. But this is actually a card I made using that mold. This one I made using hot glue and using this mold itself. And then I painted it with some gold leaf paint. And then the rest of this is from Heartfelt Creations from their Blazing Poppy collection. But I really like the final effect of it. And again, I think it's a good size. This is a 5x7 card, but I think you could probably even make that work on an A2 size card. So, okay, that's it. Really quick video. Comments, questions, leave them down below, and that's it. Talk to y'all later. Have a great weekend. Bye.